Hi, I'm Deborah Boschert. I am an artist, author, and teacher, and member of a art quilt group titled 12 by 12, the International Art Quilt Challenge. I'm delighted to tell you a little bit about our project, especially because several of the works in the 12 by 12 collection have recently been acquired by the International Quilt Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska, and are currently in March of 2024 on exhibit in their Beavers Gallery. Let me tell you a little bit about this project. So it's called 12 by 12, the International Art Quilt Challenge. We are made up of 12 artists, and we call ourselves the 12s. So you will hear me refer to the other artists in this way. This is an image of the Beavers Gallery at the International Quilt Museum, where several of the pieces in the 12 by 12 collection are on exhibit. So how did our project begin? In 2007, Diane Perrin invited several art quilt bloggers to participate in a challenge. And the key word here really is blog. It was 2007, before Facebook, before Instagram, but there were lots of artists working in the quilt form who were blogging about their process, their favorite materials and techniques, their inspiration, and the art that they were making out of fabric and stitch. So Diane really saw the potential of that moment and capitalized on all of the community that was being developed around the blog format. And she pulled together these 12 artists to work on this project from 2007 to 2012. So here are all the 12 artists. I will say that Francois opted not to have any of her 12 by 12 pieces become part of the museum's collection, but she's an important part of our project. So what exactly did the project look like? So each of us made 12 by 12-inch quilts on a theme. We took turns picking the theme. Our very first theme was dandelion. And here is Diane's dandelion quilt titled Blowin' in the Wind from our first series, the theme series. So not only did each of us make these individual art quilts, but we also revealed them on our collaborative group blog. So here's a screenshot of Diane's blog post where she revealed her dandelion quilt on October 30th, 2007. So after each of us had revealed our individual quilts on our blog, we put together a group image of all 12 art quilts, which we called a mosaic. And this is sort of the secret sauce of our project. We love the mosaic images and all the similarities and differences that you can notice as part of the challenge and how each artist interpreted the theme differently. So here is the dandelion mosaic. So we worked on this series, which we called the theme series from 2007 to 2009, 12 different themes, each theme picked by a different one of the artists. We had about 2 months between each theme. You can see all of those themes listed there, plus all 144 quilts that were created as part of the theme series. Here's another quilt from the theme series. This is Nikki Wheeler's Backpacking in Rhinestone Heels. And here is a screenshot of the blog post that Nikki shared on the reveal day for the shelter theme in October of 2008. So another really cool thing that was happening as our project went along is that we were having lots of followers and other people who were enthusiastic about seeing the quilts and anticipating the reveal day. So there were tons of comments and community being built up around our project. Here is the shelter mosaic, and here is Nikki's quilt that we just looked at. In each mosaic, each artist is always in the same spot. So it's alphabetical order. So Nikki Wheeler is here in the bottom right-hand corner, and I happen to be the first alphabetically, Deborah Boschert. So I am always in the upper left-hand corner. So as we were looking at mosaics, and when you're looking at the whole collection together, it's cool to be able to see each artist and to see the commonalities in her work by spotting her in the same place in the mosaic. So after we finished with the theme series, we decided we were eager to keep creating and keep collaborating, and we decided to change things up a little bit. We kept the dimensions at 12 by 12 inches, but rather than using a word as the inspiration, we decided to use a color as the inspiration. And so the next series we call the Color Play series. We took this idea of color pretty broadly. Sometimes it's one color, sometimes it's two or three colors. Sometimes it's even a word that might inspire a color palette. So here are the 12 color inspirations that we used when we worked on the Color Play series from 2009 to 2011. And here are the 144 quilts that were part of the completed Color Play series. Let's look at a couple of them. Here is Kirsten Duncan's quilt from the Rusty theme. This is Patricia Tina, a wonderful portrait here that I am just enamored with. I hope that you are noticing the wordplay in the title here. Rusty, Rusty Patina, Patricia Tina. I love that. And here is the Rusty mosaic. We were working in this sort of burnt orange and turquoise palette. Here's a quilt from the Color Play series, the Lorikeet theme. This is Helen's quilt. Of all of Helen's quilts in her 12 by 12 work, many of them are highly embellished and in some cases even interactive. And you can see that here in this quilt titled Moving. And here is the Lorikeet mosaic. So we kept our quilts mostly under wraps until the official reveal date on our collaborative group blog. But then it was so fun to look at the mosaics and see the commonalities that sometimes surprisingly showed up. And you see that here with these two lorikeet quilts, with these two quilts that are sort of this similar composition and similar vibe. That was really one of the funnest things, was to just see these serendipitous connections. Here's another example of some fun similarities. This is from the theme series, the Passion theme, and this is Kristen Laflamme's quilt, Lily Coy. Kristen's wonderful, highly embellished and beaded, beautiful quilt inspired by passion flowers. And here's my passion flower quilt from that same theme, the Passion theme. Mine is titled Passion Flower Interpretation. So we both took inspiration from the passion flower. And here is the passion mosaic, where you can really see our interpretations of that theme went in all different directions. So in 2011, we had the opportunity to publish a book about the theme series. We put together a book proposal, and this book was published by Lark Crafts. Each of the artists wrote one chapter, and each chapter is a really beautiful personal narrative about the creative life. And then there's also artist statements for all of the 144 quilts in the theme series. We are so delighted that this quilt is out in the world, and we continue to get people who tell us how much they enjoyed this book and how happy they are to have this book in their personal libraries. So in 2017, we decided we also really wanted to have a document recording the Color Play series. So we self-published this book, which includes all 144 quilts from the Color Play series. So several quilts have become acquired by the International Quilt Museum, and both of these books are part of that collection that will now be a permanent part of the collection at the museum as part of our project. So Terry Grant did all the layout and design and editing for this self-published book, which we so appreciate. And here's one of Terry's quilts. This is her quilt, Saint Rose and her pinking shears from the Color Play series, from the pink theme. And of course, we just love the wordplay of the word pink in this quilt. So as soon as the theme series was completed, there was lots of interest in having our quilts go on tour. And so they did. They went to several locations, galleries and quilt shows all over the world, beginning in about 2010, right up to 2024, our exhibit at the International Quilt Museum. So this image that you see here is the Color Play series at a gallery in Belgium. Sometimes the theme series traveled, sometimes the color play series traveled, and sometimes they traveled together, including this major highlight of our exhibition tour. And that was both series, the theme series and the color play series, on exhibit at the International Quilt Festival in Houston in 2011. 9 of the 12s were able to attend that event. Our book had just been published, so we were able to sell and sign lots of copies of our book and talk to lots of attendees at Quilt Festival about our project. It was just a great weekend, really, really exciting. So even after we'd finished the theme series and the color play series, we decided we still wanted to keep creating and collaborating together, but we were going to mix it up a little. So in 2012, we decided this would be our last series of work together. We decided we would do just 5 quilts during that calendar year. We kept our 12-inch sort of identity, our group identity, 12 inches wide, but we made them 20 inches long. We went back to choosing themes as the inspiration. We just sort of randomly selected 5 of the artists who would have the opportunity to pick the theme for the 2012 series. You can see that we had metamorphosis, mythology, maps, maverick, and you can better believe we expected to have an M word as our final theme, but I think it was Terry who picked this last theme, and she went with sweet, which was just perfect. So that was our last series that we worked on together. Again, we revealed all of these quilts on our group blog, and we set that last reveal date for 12/12/12. I have just a couple of more quilts to show you. Here is a quilt from Terry Stegmiller from the Metamorphosis theme. This is her quilt, Red Poppy. Another thing that was really wonderful about our group is that we were able to inspire lots of other similar groups. This is an abbreviated list of just some of the groups that took inspiration from this idea of working individually and yet also collaboratively, using the blog potential, the blog platform, and internet communications to make that all possible. So that was really a pleasure to inspire all of these similar projects. Another thing that we think really gives our project a lot of staying power is our amazingly comprehensive website. So on our website, you can view the entire theme series, the entire color play series, the entire 2012 series. You can look at profiles of all of the artists, but you can also view each artist by her individual mosaics, like what we see here. So here's Brenda Gale Smith's color play mosaic. So here are the 12 quilts that Brenda created for the entire color play series. So really an amazingly comprehensive way to look at our body of work. And this website is managed by Brenda Gale Smith, and we're so appreciative of her dedication and expertise to keep this document living online as a reference. And you can better believe that I used it extensively when I prepared our proposal for the International Quilt Museum's acquisition and for this presentation. So here's one of Brenda's quilts. This is her quilt, Bush Tucker Tracks, from the Color Play series, the Spice theme. And now several of our quilts are part of the International Quilt Museum's collection. So they opted to acquire 4 quilts from each of the 11 artists who were willing to donate our work. Not all of us have all of the quilts that we worked on as part of the 12 by 12 project. So I compiled a list of the available quilts, and then the museum curators selected from that list of available pieces. And they selected representatives from the theme series, the color play series, and the 2012 series. And they also selected the entire purple and yellow mosaic from the color play series. So here's an image of the purple and yellow mosaic, which are now all part of the museum collection. Les Francois quilt, which is this one right here. So we're so delighted that they really saw the concept and this collaborative effort of individual pieces that are made even more interesting and better when they are put together as a whole. So we're delighted that the purple and yellow mosaic is part of the collection. I had to share this quilt with you. This is Jerry Congdon's quilt from the 12 theme, simply titled The 12s, where she created a portrait of each artist in her quilt for that theme. So fun. And I'm going to end our presentation with this quilt by Karen Rips, which was part of the 2012 theme, the Sweet theme, that last quilt, the last collaborative project that we worked on together. I hope that you're noticing in Karen's quilt those 12 small circles and that one larger circle in this beautiful abstract composition. So when Karen revealed this quilt on our group blog on 12/12/12, this is what she said about our project. We are 12 women who have been able to join together to create a wonderful group experience, yet maintain our individuality. My art has improved considerably since joining this group. I've pushed myself way outside my original box, and for that, I am eternally grateful. Even more than 10 years later, I'm guessing that Karen feels the same way. I certainly agree wholeheartedly, and I am confident that all of the other 12s also really feel the personal, professional, and creative development that we gained as part of working with this group, 12 by 12, the International Art Quilt Challenge.